Okay, hang on.
All right.
Press that, don't I?
I don't know.
Yep.
You're going to be able to keep an eye on Pauline if anyone else does join.
Yeah, I think so. I think I should be able to see the admit button. That's what happened with you guys. So I think we'll be okay. We'll keep an eye on it. All righty. So what you need to do for this craft along-a-thon that we did with the South Pacific demonstrators, you'll need 4 pieces of base cardstock. You'll need another A5 sheet of cardstock. And you'll need designer series paper as well. So if you can make all of that coordinate, so you'll be able to match that all up. So we're going to cut the DSP first. So the DSP is 6 inches by 6 inches. And what we're going to do is put that into our trimmer, and we're going to cut this at 3.8 centimeters, or about 1.5 inches. So if you're doing inches, you can do the 1.5, or if you just go along and find your 3.8 centimeter mark on your trimmer. So that's our first cut.
So sorry, 1.5 inches, did you say?
1.5 inches, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Pauline, since it's only like 3 of us,
you
just want to choose, would you rather do it in inches for all of it?
What I just thought, yeah, but because we're recording it, I thought then there might be people.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah. So
yeah.
3.5. So we've got 3.8 centimeters or 1.5 inches, and then we're going to turn that long piece, and now we're going to cut that at 14.8 centimeters or 5 7/8. So what we're doing is just taking off a little piece. So you'll see there now I've got my strip and I've got a little tiny piece. So that is just rubbish, but we'll hold on to that for a sec anyway. All right.
Pauline, can you tell me again? Because I was trying to use the other cutter because I need new blades and I don't have any, but I'll try it. I can't work it out on the other cutter.
All good, all good.
Oh, sorry.
No, so take your 6 inch by 6 inch designer series paper and you're going to cut it at 1.5 inches.
Yep.
I'll just do the inches. That'll be easier.
Oh,
just
yeah. Yep, 1.5 inches. Okay.
1.5 inches. Yep. So now you've got that piece. You're going to turn it, and you're now going to cut that at 5 7/8 of an inch. So you're just left with a tiny little bit that's just going to be cut off.
Okay.
All right, take the large piece that you've still got. We're going to cut this at 3 inches.
Okay.
Now, rotate that piece and cut it at 3 inches. So now you have a 3 inch by 3 inch square. All right, now the piece that's still in the machine, what you're going to do now is cut this at 1 inch. So it's going to be 3 inches by 1 inch.
Yep.
Now move along and cut again another strip at 1 inch. So now you should have 3 pieces of designer series paper. That is 3 inches, sorry, 1.5, oh yeah, 3 inches by 1 inch, sorry.
Yep.
All right, so that's our next lot. Now you're going to take your last piece, of designer series paper, and you are going to cut it at 1.5 inches. So these are going to make 4 squares at 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. I'll just go through the designer series paper here. You have 1.5 inches by 5 7/8 of an inch. You have a second piece, which is 3 inches by 3 inches. you have 3 strips, which is 3 inches by 1 inch, and you have 4 squares, which are 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. All right, let's just pop that to the side and grab our single sheet of A5 cardstock. And we're going to cut this. So we're going to turn it long ways. Oh, sorry, I get like, so I have the A5 going that way. And what we're going to do is cut this at 1 3/4 of an inch, or 4.4 centimeters. So you have 1 strip.
Yep.
Now pop that just to the side. And now what we're going to do is our next piece, we're going to cut this at 8.3 centimeters, or 3 1/4 of an inch. .3. All right. Turn that piece around, and now what we're going to do is cut it at 4 1/4 of an inch. So 4 1/4, or sorry, where am I? Yep, 4 1/4, so 10.8 centimeters. Now, this piece we've still got here, we're going to now cut that. It should be 8.3 centimeters by 3.25, or 3 1/4 inches by 1 1/4 inches. So you are just left with a tiny little bit of rubbish as well.
Okay.
Now, taking our last rectangle that we have, we're going to cut this at 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches, or your 8.3. So it should already be that. So we just need to rotate it, and we're cutting it at 8.3, or 3 1/4 inches.
Yep.
Taking the last piece we have, you're going to cut this at 1 1/4 inches. So this piece will be 3 1/4 inches by 1 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to make sure that should be just about right. You may need to take a slither off the last piece so that you've got 2 pieces. So I'll go through the bits now. So you should have 1 piece of cardstock, which is 1 3/4 of an inch by 5 13/16 of an inch. That then goes with this piece of designer series paper, our long strip. So it matches from end to end, but you will have a border on the side.
Ooh. Okay.
Did that work?
No. But that's all right.
What
We'll
went
move
wrong?
on. Move
Okay.
on.
All right. So now we have our 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece of cardstock. And then we have our designer series paper, which is 3 inches by 3 inches. And that goes on to that piece.
Yep. That looks good.
Yep. Then you will have 3 pieces of cardstock, which are 3 1/4 inches by 1 1/4 inch. Then you will have the designer series paper that matches on the top. So you'll have a border around each of them, and that is 3 inches by 1 inch.
Yep, that's worked too.
Excellent. And our last and final piece here, we have our cardstock, which is 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then we have our 1 1/2 inch by 1 1/2 inch squares that sit on top.
Yep.
So these all now get glued together.
Okay.
And I'll just finish off what we're going to do with them. You're going to take your base card, fold it over, now what you get to do is create the cards that you would like to make. So you can put the pieces, once you've glued all these bits together, you can place them onto your base card wherever you like. So you can do it the way we've done it, and I will show you our samples, or you can actually go ahead and do something different. But everyone on the demonstrator craft along-a-thon all came up with different ideas, and it changes so much because you've changed your designer series paper.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I could have that in the middle, I could have it up the top, I could turn my card going lengthways, I can have it so portrait or landscape. But I think I'm going to go this way today. You also have the option now of actually raising up any of your elements. So if you wish to have parts of your sections raised up, don't glue them straight to your base card. You can actually raise them up. So the idea with this is actually so that you can now create these cards in your own workshop, Zoom, live, whichever you would like. So that the idea with these was to actually come up with a simple thing that you can actually demonstrate and show your customers and set them a challenge.
So Pauline, you're using a piece of the gingerbread peppermint paper.
I am. I'm right into this Christmas paper at the moment, so I'm absolutely loving. What paper have you got, Natasha?
The tiding, what's it called again?
Tidings of Christmas, is that the one?
Tidings of Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, nice. What paper are you using today, Judy?
The one that was a couple of years ago, I think, with the dragonflies, had the dragonfly punch.
Oh, from last year.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Dandy Garden.
Yeah, something like that. I think it has got dandelions on it. I never know what things are called, just how they look.
And it's good because you can use any designer series paper with this, and you can really easily make a whole bunch of cards.
So I have actually stuck down all of my cards. Now all I have to do is add my sentiment and words. So you have on your list of supplies that you need to create these cards. So you've got your base cards, you've got your designer series paper. So if you just get some basic white or very vanilla cardstock for your greetings, a coordinating greeting stamp set, an ink pad in a coordinating colour, and I'm going to be using, there's a lot of red on here, so I'm actually going to change it up and move to my old olive for mine. And you can have a punch for your greetings, you can get some coordinating ribbon, and then you just need your adhesive, your trimmer, and your snips as well. So that's one way of doing the cards, and I'm going to show you, this is actually what they did on the Craft Along-a-thon. This was their designs, so using just the Pansy DSP. So you can actually add.
Nice.
Yep. And then what I did on the day was I actually used the Eden's Garden designer series paper that is new at the moment, and I have made these cards. And I have also used the Eden Garden little gems that are also available at the moment. So these are the garden gems that you can get.
Yep.
And I've got them upstairs for you, Judy, too.
Oh,
so
thank you. Yep, I have to pick them up.
Yep.
Thank you.
So there's lots of things that you can do and add and step up your card. You can raise. I've actually embossed using the tag punch. I've actually embossed my gold words, and then I have raised it up. A little tip that I did with this card, I have done a faux bow under here. So it's not actually a bow, it's just linked around and looped. And then what I did was actually put my dimensionals in each corner. And I did that so that, pardon me, it's not so bulky and it sits flat against the designer series paper with my dimensional. So I'm not actually adhering it to the ribbon as such. So the ribbon is stuck down with the Stampin' Seal, but I've just put my dimensionals in opposite corners so that it misses the ribbon. I just like that extra bit of security there. Now, Natasha's actually got some cards that she has previously done as well from our Craft Along-a-thon.
Did I? I forgot. I can do these ones.
And
I
so
can
she's
show the ones that I'm so far. So I've used 2 different coloured bases. I just don't have the things yet. So that's with the Misty Moonlight as a base, and Soft Succulent, and that one's a white base. And I'm just deciding on the others which way to go. So I'm going to have 2 white bases and 2 blue bases.
nice.
Just trying to decide whether I want to alternate the DSP on the one with the strips, turn one over the other way or not.
Ooh, yeah, bit of variation. And I saw another demonstrator who had done this piece using the squares, but what she decided to do was actually not, pardon me, not mount them onto the square. She got a piece, her old olive oil base card, and had mounted it, but then placed it on her card in a strip like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could probably cut the square up and still have an edge around them. It'd have to be pretty thin. Did you do something with your thing, Pauline? Because it's gone.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
All right, there we go. I didn't turn my phone on to do not disturb. So I didn't think anyone would ring me. So what she did was mounted these. So these squares were all 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So if you just make a little border, and then what she did was actually laid them all down like that on her card instead. So if you didn't want to do them like that, that was another option I thought was quite nice, having them just come down in a strip.
In the diamond shape instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So depends on the designer series paper, because I felt like you couldn't really alter this one with the little ornaments on it unless I stuck an ornament down on the card. Maybe that would be another option.
Yeah.
Use the designer series paper to cut up some ornaments.
Yeah.
And my other choice was using this paper with
The lolly one. Yeah, but you can easily do so many variations with still the same basic pattern.
Yep. So what I like to do is, with the scraps of Whisper White, Very Vanilla and Basic Black, I sit here with my label punch, and so I've got the triple layer punch and the banner punches, and I actually use my scraps and I just make a little bag. So now when I come to be creating these cards, I've got a little selection here, and then all I need to do is actually stamp my words, add my ribbon, and I've already cut out some of my bits and pieces. So I do find that a little easier too.
Time saving.
Yep. And then you can also, just by using the label, what I could do on this card is put my words down here, and then I could have one of my little fussy cut trees. I think that might need to be a cinnamon. So I could actually take my, see a little cinnamon Christmas tree there, and some accents, literally.
Yeah, for sure.
Another little way of doing that. Alrighty, so I think I can stop the recording now, if everyone, because then we're going to show you some bits and pieces that we did from on stage while we finish creating our cards, and we don't want anyone else to see that just yet. So this will be uploaded. All right, so we'll get to see some goodies.